I'm sure that by now you all know about Marie Kondo and her book, and also through her Netflix series. I read her book about 2 years ago. As I have said it before, her book completely changed my life and the way of thinking when organizing my home. There are 6 basic principles that I'm going to be discussing today and what I have learned from each of those principles. And the first basic principle is to commit yourself to tidying. The question is, are you really willing to go through this process? And if the answer is yes, go ahead and do it, and welcome to a new life. If you are really committed to do it, then you will see the difference and you will not see the suffering, because I'm going to tell you, this is not an easy process. Going through every single item that you have, it's very tiring, exhausting, overwhelming at times, but at the same time it gives you what it really is like and what you have in your home. Another basic principle is to imagine your ideal life and your ideal lifestyle. When I read this, I thought this is so incredibly good and so genius, something so basic. But when you put in perspective what you want in life, you close your eyes and you imagine what your ideal life is and how you would like to enjoy it and live it, then that is what it gives you the energy to keep going. The third basic principle is to finish discarding first and then think about storage. And this is a mistake many of us have made before. For example, I used to go to my closet, open my closet and say, oh, I need some storage for the shoes, I need some storage for my purses, I need I need to get a box for this and that. And when I bring it home, it doesn't really fit. There's too much of the same items, so there's not enough space. So the basic thing here is to go through everything, get rid of what you don't want to keep and just keep what you really love. And then once you have done that, then you can start thinking about how to store it, about boxes, about shelvings, etc. But first, discarding and then storage. And once you've done this, when you are ready to put things away in storage, what I have loved is the filing system. I absolutely love putting everything up right now. So you open the drawer and you see everything what you have there, not only with clothes, but with everything else. So visually, one, it looks much better, and second, and more importantly, it's so much easier to find something that you're looking for. The fourth principle is to tidy by categories and not by location. And when I did this the first time, it made so much sense, and it made me realize why all of the other times that I had organized failed. So here's the thing, when we organize by room or by section, for example, if I'm going to organize my closet, I'm going to organize that. But what about the clothes that I have in other places? So when I did this the first time, I grabbed everything from my closet, also a couple of coats that I had in another closet, and I put it all together, and I got my stuff from my drawers and I put it all together, and then it made me realize, like, I didn't even know that I had this amount of stuff. So you are like facing the reality when you do that. And I'm not just saying it with the clothing, I'm also saying, for example, category, let's say skin products. You think like, oh, I only have like an eye cream, and then you realize like you have like one eye cream that you're using right now, but you have like 3 other tubes or 3 other little jars that you've been using, you didn't like, and you still have it there. When you do it by category, it makes you go through this and really know and realize what you have in your home. The fifth basic principle is to follow the right order. And I think this is so smart, because she says that we should follow this order because it's easier to go with an easy category at first and then gradually go to the harder part. So we're going to start with clothes, then we're going to do books, then we're going to do papers, Then we're gonna do Kimono, and finally we're gonna go through Sentimental Items. When we do clothes first, I think in my opinion it's a little easier or much easier to go through this because it's easier to know exactly what you like, what you don't like, what it fits you well, what it doesn't fit you that well, what is that you're wearing right now because it goes with your lifestyle now. So it's easier to go through the clothes. And at the same time, you can go through subcategories. For example, with the clothing, you're gonna put all of your clothes together and you're gonna go through the tops, through the bottoms, through the dresses. Then after the clothes, we're gonna go through books. And I know books, it's a little harder for some people because they have like an attachment or connection with a book. It took me a while to transfer from regular books to digital books, but I finally did it. I have read really good books on my digital version, especially like novels. When it comes to reference books, those I keep like the actual book. Like for example, the Marie Kondo book. I have her second book also, and those I keep. I have other books that are organizing books and cleaning books because I keep studying all the time about that because of my business. So I keep those books because I write notes, etc. So those are more reference books. So I keep that. But I know that for some people it's a little hard to go through books and to actually get rid of books. And that is a very smart way to put it on a second place rather than on the first place. Then you're going to go through papers, and you have to go very carefully through papers depending on what country you live or what state you live, because like for example my taxes papers, I cannot get rid of the papers from last year or 2 years ago because I need to have them for a certain amount of time. But at the same time, I don't think I need the papers from the health insurance when my daughter was born 16 years ago. So I think I can safely throw those away and keep only the ones from a couple of years ago. Then the other category, which is Kimono, and I was a little confused at the beginning by this category because I said, okay, we're doing clothing, we're doing books, we're doing papers. I knew about the sentimental items as well, but it was like, where are the kitchen stuff? Like what about the dishes and where do those go? So in this category, Kimono, which is a Japanese word for miscellaneous, will go basically everything else in your home. So we're gonna go through, for example, all of the utensils in my kitchen, all of the dishes. The same we're gonna do with our beauty products. We're gonna put it here in this category. We're gonna put here all of the bedding and linen in this category as well. As I said, basically everything else that is in your home. And finally, we're going to go through sentimental items. And I think this is really genius to put it in the last of the categories, because it would be impossible to start with sentimental items. If we started with the sentimental items, we would end up not throwing anything away, keeping everything, and at the same time we couldn't move forward. So to leave it on the last category, it's a great idea because first you have seen a change in your life, a change in your home. You can see the difference now. You open your closet and it's much nicer. You go to the books and you see only the books that you want to have. You go through the papers and you don't have those medical records from 20 years ago because you don't need them. When you go to sentimental items, you already have trained your mind through the process. So to me, at least, it has been way easier to go through this because I have trained my mind. I'm seeing the change in my home. So it's easier to say, you know what? I don't really want to have 150 drawings from my daughter when she was in kindergarten. Maybe one is just fine. And I can go through them and leave the one that I really enjoy the most. And the final principle, the number 6, is asking yourself if something sparks joy. This is so basic and so profound at the same time. It's so basic as whether you like something, whether it sparks joy or not. But when you start doing this, it's incredible, but your body starts reacting to certain things. When you touch something with your hands, it will tell you whether you want to keep it or not. And remember to be very conscious on this practice, because sometimes we tend to say, oh, these pants, I don't really love them, but it's a good brand, they're kind of expensive. Think about it. We are trying to keep things that spark joy in our life. Remember at the beginning when we started with the principles? One of the first principles was imagine your lifestyle. Don't let anything go against that. If you have something in your mind, if you can imagine your perfect and ideal lifestyle, don't let a pair of pants take you away from it. You're supposed to open your closet, and the whole closet is supposed to spark all this joy. And through the process, as you practice this, it'll be much easier for you to notice when something sparks joy or not. It's not going to be easy at the beginning, because at the beginning you will want to keep most of the things. On the other hand, there are some items that definitely don't spark joy, but you do need them. When we're doing the kitchen, for example, of course a can opener may not spark any joy, right? But you need it. But what about if you need to get something? Let's say you don't have a can opener in your home, but you need to get one. Instead of getting like just any can opener, why don't you get something that you really like? It will look really nice in your kitchen. You will enjoy it every time that you use it. So that's the way I'm thinking right now. If I don't have something, but I need to get it, I'll go and buy only something that will spark joy. And that's it. I really hope you liked this video. If you did, please give me a like. Don't forget to subscribe and share with all your friends. And before I go, I wanted to ask you if you could follow me on Instagram. I am Marcela Barraza B. And also, please leave in the comments down below if you have attempted to do the Marie Kondo method. I would love to hear from you and what your journey has been like. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.